What to do when you're discarded. Hi, I'm Ann Margaret with Raise the Vibration. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're talking about a plan that you can put into place for when you meet one of the most challenging aspects to this human journey. Hey, Mary, thank you so much for joining me. So, what do we do when we're discarded? We're going to go through this at least one time in our life, if not repeatedly throughout our life. And it's one of the most challenging things we can encounter as a human being. I'll get into that why it's so challenging in just a moment. But today I'm going to give you a three-step process so that you know what to do when this happens to you. Whether you get fired from your job or going through a divorce, or maybe a friend or a colleague or a family member cuts you out of their life, there's three things that I find are very, very helpful when going through this process, having gone through it myself, of course, as well. So, first of all, the pain of rejection is one thing, but going through being discarded is quite another. Rejection for us seems more temporary, like maybe they've rejected something, but they'll accept something else. And as we know that anything that we struggle with others outside of ourselves begins within. So, part of this three-step process I'm going to give you also is a reflection of where have you discarded yourself? That's a very valid and very valuable inquiry to freeing yourself up from the pain of this permanent rejection of discardment. So let's go ahead and look at this three-step process, okay? So the first thing, when something happens, or you're fired, or you get broken up with, or somebody cuts you out of their life and it's completely unexpected, the first thing you want to do is restore your integrity. And these are three R's, so it's easy to remember. So number one, restore your integrity. What did you do? Is there something that you did? Reflect on your own actions. Did you do something that you need to apologize for? Did you do something that you need to clean up at work or in a relationship? Restore your integrity. Why is this so critical? One of the most important aspects of our character is our integrity. What is integrity? I didn't even learn this, I think, until I was in my early 20s. Integrity is what you say and what you do are in alignment. With what you say and what you do are in alignment. So your words, your actions are expressions, are extensions of who you are in the world. So in restoring your integrity means if you've done something that is not desirable of who you really want to be, clean it up. Apologize. Not just saying the words, but truly apologize. Clean it up. If you forget to do something, go do it. Restore your integrity. That's step one, okay, when this happens to you. Step two is recover yourself. So step one, restore your integrity, R. The second R is recover yourself. Ask yourself, where have you discarded an aspect of yourself? So in relationships, especially when we're cut out of somebody's life and we don't know, it's very unexpected, we look, okay, what did we do wrong? Did we do anything wrong that we need to clean up? The second thing is, how have we discarded an aspect of ourselves? This is very, very important. This is what got us into this out of balance relationship or dysfunctional relationship in the first place. Did we do something? Did we compromise? Did we try and take ownership for something that really wasn't our fault? Did we not allow ourselves to be human? Did we discard our humanity? Did we discard how we should be treated or how we should be received by another, a mutual respect for ourselves? So what have you discarded about yourself that needs to be recovered? Okay, so that's step two. That's probably more of the challenging one, because usually we're looking towards what we can do for another before we look to what we need to do for ourselves. So where have you discarded an aspect of yourself? Maybe you're not being honest with what you need. Maybe you're not being truthful about something that hurt your feelings. I was talking to one of my dear friends this week who was going through this with a friend of hers, and it was more of her inclination. She has a huge heart to go after the person who had discarded her and say, are you okay? What's going on? After this person had written her out of her life. But the thing is that if we chase after something like a rejection, if we chase after the person who's rejecting us, then we are letting go of uh, our own sovereignty, our own self-respect. That if somebody does something to us that's not okay, the thing to do is to not sweep it under the rug, immediately forgive and let go. Forgive, but let the person earn their spot back in your life. Let them restore their integrity. Let them recover what they need to recover and come back into your life. If we don't do this, y'all, if we don't do this, then we keep in perpetuating the cycle of dysfunction. It's a parasitic relationship that we keep walking back into in our life. If we try and take ownership of what somebody else has done, or we don't address it, or we don't, or if we don't expect the next time for there to be a higher level of self-respect in the relationship, then we will perpetuate the cycle of dysfunction. Okay, so very, very important. So number one, restore your integrity, apologize. Number two, recover yourself. Where have you rejected yourself? And here's number three. If in doing that, if the person is still has cut you out of your life and cut you out of their life rather, has discarded you, the third thing is to release with love. Release with love. If we hold on to resentment and we don't forgive, if we hold on to our anger and our frustration and feelings like I didn't do anything wrong, I don't know why this person is rejecting me, and then chase after them expecting that they're going to give you some brilliant explanation. Don't we do that sometimes? We're like, tell me what I did wrong, like tell me what I can do to actually get back in your good graces. No, if we don't let go, if we don't release with love, the other person does not have the opportunity to self-reflect. That's a big one. That's a huge one. If we go in and we swoop and we save over and over and over again, save them from themselves, save them from harming your relationship, then they will never have the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet and learn. Very, very important. And in return, you will learn also what is symbiotic in a relationship, meaning equal parts, equal coming together, and what is parasitic in a relationship, something that's dysfunctional, imbalanced, and not working. This is a codependency and a very unhealthy relationship of a parasitic relationship versus a interdependency, some coming together and serving each other rather than codependency. Okay, big difference in our relationships. Okay, so going over these 3 steps again: restore your integrity, clean up your mess. And somebody discards you from their life, see if you can apologize for anything, see if you can find out what it is that you did, be open, ask with a genuine open heart. Number 2, recover yourself. Where have you rejected yourself? This might be a really beautiful lesson for you to learn. When somebody discards you from their life, maybe they did so because they're doing you a favor. You keep discarding yourself and attracting these people into your life. It's just a very dysfunctional, disempowering pattern. So recover yourself. Where have you discarded yourself? Number 3, release with love. Thank them. You don't have to actually thank them in person or over the phone or directly if they've cut you off. So that might be more of a trying to get them back or trying to hook them in again to the relationship. But releasing with love is truly letting go, forgiving not only yourself, but also forgiving them, and releasing them with love. Thank you for teaching me what I needed to learn about where my own dysfunctional relationship to my own discardment lays. Or thank you for teaching me that I really want to surround myself with people who uplift me rather than expect me to be superhuman. Whatever that is for you, it's very, very important to release with love. Everyone we encounter on this human journey is here to teach us some lesson. And if we don't relate to them like a teacher, then we will relate to them like a perpetrator of violence or abuse. If we see them through that filter, we immediately self-victimize. We immediately take on the victim archetype in a shadow aspect and disempower ourselves, not only in our own lives, but in the relationship with this particular person. Okay. And one of the main reasons, I promised that I would tell you, one of the main reasons that this being rejected permanently, this discarding of ourselves from somebody's life or a job, place, workplace, is so painful is that when we come into this world, and I'll do another live just on this because it's a big one to swallow. When we come into this world, our being born, our going from the oneness of being connected with our mothers physically and emotionally, energetically, everything, we are one with our mothers, going from the oneness of that to being separate in this five sensory reality is the most traumatizing experience of our life. And when we're rejected or even permanently discarded from someone's life, it triggers that initial most traumatic experience that we ever go through, being born. Now, it doesn't mean like, oh, we're born and now this is a terrible experience. But if we don't recognize that that transition is the most traumatic experience we have as human beings, then we can be blinded by the daily interactions where we walk blindly into a dysfunctional relationship and the rug pulls out from underneath our feet and we're left going, what did I do? What did I do? And we never get free of that cycle. Okay, so going from the oneness of being connected before we get here and are on our own, and then facing this world of separateness is very confusing for us as human beings. I'll do a live on that maybe next week just on that. So stay tuned next weekend for that. Let's pull our two cards for today. I've also put into the notes, if you're feeling like you need some support, I have a monthly women's circle now every month on the new moon online. So I put a link in the notes for today. And then if you also want to go deeper dive with me personally, I do one-on-one coaching. So email me. The other thing I put in there are some 2 oils, forgive and peace. Those are great oils if you're dealing with this permanent rejection of feeling discarded by somebody in your life. All right. Okay, let's pull our archetype card for today. Warrior. Okay, that's a great archetype. Strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroicism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Those are the light aspects. The shadow aspects of the warrior are trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. We can compromise ourselves in our relationships. I think that's why this is coming up here. So trading ethical principles, standing by yourself, loving yourself, but instead compromising for going after, chasing after the dysfunctional parasitic relationships when we're discarded, okay? Also, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. When we discard people from our lives and we give no explanation, it's one of the most cruel things that we can do to them. Really, it's one of the most cruel things because it stimulates and it triggers that root that's so painful for them. So watch that warrior archetype. That shadow can really come up in this realm. I think that's why that came up today. So if you've done this to someone else, have you given them a reason for why you have needing to separate from them? Okay, and then maybe do some self-reflection on your own because it works both ways on both sides of the coin. Okay, all right, let's do a quick goddess card. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. So I offer these Dharma talks every weekend. It's usually on Saturday mornings at 11 Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, but also sometimes it's on Sunday. So stay tuned. All right, here is the goddess card for today. Rhiannon, sorceress. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. Okay, so oftentimes with relationships that are really parasitic in our lives, we chase after them over and over and over again until we recognize how we're playing in this. So remember the 3-step process: restore your integrity, recover yourself, and then release with love. Recover yourself. If you're not recognizing why you've attracted this person into your life or why you've attracted the pattern of people discarding you in your life, you're going to keep doing that until you graduate into the way that you see yourself in a bigger way. So Rhiannon helps us to remember that we are magical. We are divine, and we have that power within us to manifest what we desire. You guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, keep raising the vibration. All right. Bye, everyone.